I think that I have gone through the woods of Ghana to every club, to every region, not to know who constitutes Congress or who constitutes Congress, and not to know the problems facing our industry.
David.
For which reason I think that I'm best placed to solve the problems the industry faces.
We need somebody with integrity to help restore the integrity of the game.
This is not time for Matramakwe. This is the time for somebody who is tried and tested.
GFA decides.
That gentleman you heard there saying that this is not time for Matramakwe, if there was any famous words being displayed on this platform since September 5, 2019, is that phrase, this is not time for Matramakwe. He's that gentleman who was second in command to the leadership of Ghana football prior to April 2018, when the president, or the then president of the Ghana Football Association, Mr. Kwesi Nyenteche, decided that he was going to change his next partner to lead the governance of Ghana football. And few months after he was removed as vice president of the Ghana Football Association, then the thunder struck the governance of Ghana football, where Anas Armeyer Anas and his Tiger IPI team came out with an expose into corruption and match fixing in Ghana football. And now the opportunity is opened for next leadership of Ghana football. He's one gentleman who is preaching restoration of Ghana football. And tonight, we want to find out how we are going to restore Ghana football to its glory days. And in the studio with me to do this conversation is Mr. George Afriyie, who is the director of football for Liverpool Professional Clubs. He's also the bankroller of Ochiman Planners. If there was ever one interview that we've struggled or worked so hard to get, it's just this very interview. A pleasure to have you here. Thank you for finally.
Huh?
I'm sure this is your first time in our studio.
No. Nuti Fafa.
Oh, okay.
I've had some interviews with Nuti Fafa.
Okay.
So this is not my first time.
Okay.
Anyway, I think when it changed from Viasat to Kwesi,
yeah.
This is my first time.
A pleasure to have you finally. There are people who talk about your passion for football. How did you get into football in the first place to be so passionate about the game?
Well, I believe that every young boy growing up in Ghana, especially those of us who grew up from Akosomo, Burma camp. Fortunately for me, those early days were Akotes and XX74. Okay. So my upbringing in my early childhood was, I lived in two places where there were Division 1 teams. Those days it wasn't a Premier Division. Yeah. We don't call them Premier. It was Division 1 clubs. And so I followed the game right from those days. I remember very well, when I want to talk of Akosomo, I'm talking of when Coach Adebi was the coach of Akotes.
These names you're mentioning, I don't know.
I'm sure maybe you were not born, or maybe you were just a little boy. I'm talking of when the likes of Yarmak, Jomo Michel, and all that, those people. I mean, it was fun. I mean, growing up, that was when we had most of the industries clubs were affiliated to industries. Yeah, like ATL, Juantes,
those
Dumas,
names, they ring a bell.
And then later, when I moved to Burma Camp 2, it was the days of SS74. And trust me, I saw Otia Kente playing football. Kwame Samson and Otia Kente, all of them, I saw them from the days of XS74.
I had an interesting conversation with Otia Kente where he was talking about how he was playing football, and unfortunately he couldn't make the 78 squad and all that. But during those days, did you ever envisage that you'll be seated here talking about your ambitions of leading Ghana football?
Not really, but the truth is that I also had a grandfather who was a founding father of Accra Great Olympics. Okay. And so, well, the footballing was in our family.
And you were born and bred in football?
Oh yes, I had football in my genes, and I had followed the game passionately. I have followed the game right from those days, the early days of. I mean, if you compare what we are witnessing now, then you realize that yes, some of us have seen real football.
You were in the leadership of Ghana football. Just let's say May, June, the Premier happened. You went out as vice president in April. 2 months later, then the thunder struck. But now you say you want to restore football. You were in there. Why did you not restore it?
I can only restore football because I know where we are coming from. Especially somebody need to understand what the history is. What was the situation before we got to even the early changes where we brought in the reforms. Remember, before 2005 yes. We had practiced a different system. Yeah. And I'm referring to the system where the government had to nominate 2 people, and then we had a larger number of executive council, 30-something, 38, 35, 38. And then we had the vice chairman of GACA becoming the vice president or the vice chairman of GFA. Yeah. We had to move from that old order to a new structure. Yeah. And I believe that this came about when FIFA said in 2005 that member associations must run their federations independently. And so therefore they wanted to take out government interference or government influence in football. Yeah. So I sit here as someone who is coming from that old school where you know where we are coming from. Yeah. And then I'm also part of the administration right from 2005 when Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi, myself, Randiabe and others, yeah. Fred Papu and Fred Krensel, were elected as the first executive committee members to serve under Mr. Nyantakyi's administration. Yeah. Fortunately, I have survived. I have survived subsequent elections, and some fell along the way, yeah. But I have gone through 3 successful elections. And so it is important that you identify someone who understands where we are coming from and where we were until the tender strike, and where we want to go from here. Where
were we when the tender struck? What brought about the tender?
Well, we were dipping in form. If I want to be very candid and honest, we had gone up. If I want to use a graph to illustrate what I want to say, we had just picked like that, and then we were coming like that. So we need someone who could take the graph back again.
How come we came down?
Well, it's normal in football. You see, if you look at even Germany today, Germany is struggling. In terms, when I say, because you are sometimes measured by your national team A, and then sometimes you are also measured by the elite clubs in your country. So gone are the days when Bayern will be winning the European Champions League, the Germany will be winning the World Cup, winning the European Cup and all that. Today, you can clearly say that the German national team A is struggling. We've had teams like Cameroon in the past.
But the FA is a gamut of competitions, not just a national team.
Yeah, but I'm saying that you will be measured. Your strength will be measured based on your League A, which is the Premier League, and how good your team is, your national team A is performing. These are the areas, of course, if your league is doing well, then of course you expect the Kumasi Asante, of course, the House of Folks, the Duanas, the Chelseas to go to CAF interclub competition and also to perform well. But if they are kicked out within the preliminary stages, it becomes a problem. So I'm saying that, yes, the graph went that way, stayed a bit there, and then it went down, and then we need someone who could just raise it back again. So I'm saying that I know where we were, I know what the challenges were, I know what our finances were, I know how we can then rebrand ourselves, restore our image, dented image, because for now, the brand Ghana football has been badly battered. It's a fact.
What role did you play in rising Ghana football when you realized that it was deeper?
Of course, it's a collective. If you go back into my manifesto, it is the reason why I have said that it is our collective shame. All of us. Yeah. Nobody can
exonerate
himself from the blame. I'm saying that, yes, there are times when in leadership, yes, you could offer some sort of advice or solutions, but trust me, we are working as a group. We succeed together, we fail together. That's how it is. No one single person can take credit of whatever has happened in the past.
So you accept that?
So when I say somewhere, when I hear people saying that, oh, we went to the World Cup, and because we went to the World Cup, we can attribute the credit to Muftar. That's wrong. Because if you bring the program, and the program is not approved by the executive committee, you cannot execute the program. So the truth is that we achieve together, we fail together.
So do you say that the administration you were part of, especially the last administration that took over in 2015, you failed?
I'm saying that we were coming down.
Did you
I
fail?
didn't say, no, we didn't fail completely. I'm saying that things went wrong.
So what were the successes?
We chalked a lot of successes in terms of national team. We were not doing badly. Yeah. We continued to qualify. Even though
we made it to the final of AFCON 2015 especially.
Not only that, we even won, we won Waffle.
Yeah, the Waffle Cup of Nations.
Yeah, we won Waffle Cup of Nations. Our clubs were still also qualifying for the CAF Interclub competition. I remember, I think, was it Kotoko? Yeah. Went to the next stage until recently.
Until recently. It was Midiama.
Midiama went to the next stage of the CAF Interclub competitions. And our national team A was also not doing badly at all, except that we had failed to annex the most important trophy, which has eluded us for close to 34, 36 years.
There's this big question everyone has been struggling to find solutions to. I just want to digress a bit before I come back to your manifesto for you to speak to us about how to restore Ghana football. There are people who don't know why you were taken off as vice president of the Ghana Football Association. Do you know why?
I don't know why. I still don't know why. I think that maybe it is because I decided to contest for the position. I think because honestly, I can't put my.
Did you contest the decision of the president before the executive council?
No. It was just a shot. It came like a wind, like that. I was even in Kumasi, and I had a wind of a coup. A coup? Sorry. I had yes. So well, you don't even want
because
to
I remember I posted that thing on social media. So
yeah, I didn't want to talk about the coup. Yeah. The point is that I had a win of it. I was in Kumasi, so I was the last person to come into the meeting. So the meeting had gone on. We were discussing. I believe it was the Namwan's company. What's the name?
Xylophone.
Xylophone sponsorship for the league. Yeah. So that was the main topic of the day. So I think we had gone through the deliberations of the contracts and all that. Then Mr. Kujo Yanka just woke up and said, Mr. President, I think that for some time now, we could send some bit of unhealthy relationship between you and your vice, and we think that he has also come out publicly to declare that he wants to contest in 2019. So for us, we think that it's about time you have a new vice president. This was from Mr.
So it was a suggestion he made?
But it was planned. It was just planned to be staged at that time.
Who planned that?
Oh, of course I know. And I don't think that you or me. I want to heal wounds.
No,
I'm saying that I want to heal wounds.
Okay, I understand. No need you probably might have had this discussion with delegates who wants to vote for you, but there are other group of people.
No, I've not talked about it.
But then there should be that concern about people who want to know why the second in command of Ghana football was removed. Could it be something?
Why don't you find time and find out from the man who removed me? Because he had the power to remove. So it's better you talk to him. And I know you have a good relationship with him.
Okay, that is well understood.
And to add it, I think from both Wala, right?
No.
Close, right?
Not even close.
But very good friend, right?
Yes, and you know how that friendship started.
No, I don't know. I don't want to know. So just keep it that. Let's move on.
Okay, now let's move the conversation forward. Now, we are at a point where you're speaking to delegates to give you the power to lead the Ghana football. You've told them you are tried and tested. What makes George tried and tested?
Okay. I believe we've all lived in this country. We've followed our football, both the good, the ugly. We've followed it. Everybody knows. It's not an open, it's an open secret that in times of difficulties, in times of all the troubles, there's one man that will stand up for it.
So before you continue, now let's listen to what you said at your manifesto launch.
Our revival. We shall revive our youth and grassroots football, women football, gala, FA Cup, the National League, devoid of bribery, corrupt practices, radicalism, hooliganism. Let's play it fair shall be our mantra. Ladies and gentlemen, our mantra will be let's play it fair. Our restoration. We shall restore the GFA to its lost glory. We shall use lessons of the past to forge a new beginning. Ghana football shall take its rightful place among the League of Football Nations, the best of the best.
The best of the best. And that is where I'm so much interested in, especially from the restoration point where he said Ghana football will find itself amongst the best. if he's voted president. And now I want to find out why George Afriyie should be that person that should be given the mandate to lead Ghana football.
It is because George Afriyie understands the position we are now. George Afriyie was part of the system that built a very lovely and attractive brand.
Yes.
I believe strongly that in the early 2000s, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, when you talk of Ghana football, it was so attractive in terms of our players. You could see our players play in the top leagues in the world. Yes. Is that the case now? Now, even if you want to talk about even youth football, you want to talk about the junior national teams, we're doing very well. It was only one time that we had a problem with under 70, the MRI
2015.
case. 2015. But at the under 20, we've done so well. Yeah. Right from 2009, under my leadership in 2013, 2015, we qualified successfully. Yeah. And we were doing very well. But that is not the case now. I'm saying that you need someone who knows how it was done and how he can improve whatever was achieved.
At what point did you realize that you can improve Ghana football?
From the very time I walked into Ghana football, I knew I could. And I've played that part right from the very first time. I was not hoping to be in leadership position in order to improve Ghana football. Let people get it straight. I did not wait till I even became executive committee member. Muftar, let me tell you something. In the year 1993, 26 years ago.
I was 3 years old.
See? I followed a certain Ghana national under-17 team to their team hotel in Tokyo and offered a lot of assistance to the team in 1993. In 1996...
As a what?
Under-17 in Tokyo.
As a what?
As a Ghanaian living... As a Ghanaian living, football-loving fan, as a passionate Ghanaian football fan.
Okay.
In 1996, as a Ghanaian living in Tokyo, when Ghana was on its way to the Atlanta Olympics, yes. They stopped in Tokyo to play the Japan Olympic team in a friendly or a last warm-up match where Ghana won 2-0, both goals scored by Augustine Info. In that particular match, I offered a lot of help to the Ghanaian team. You can check. I hate to just blow my own horns. Yeah. In 2007, as a member of the executive committee and not a member of the under-17, I followed the under-17 team to Tokyo with my own pocket money, or bought a ticket on my own, and offered a lot of assistance. In fact, to the point that all members of the management team and technical team of the under-17 team brought a Japanese wealthy businessman to give them 1 seku watch each.
Why were you doing all this?
I love my country. And at that level, the level of motivation is not like it's in the national team A. I continued to Korea, saw the Ghana under-17 team wearing slippers, Chalewati. And I'm referring to Chalewati. You can ask any member. The team was led by the Alhaji Raji and Nanabudu. I went to a place called Tondemo in Korea. Anybody who knows Korea, it's a night market, and it's like well patronized by a lot of people. When they bought Pumas, because they were wearing Puma kits, but with no shoes and sneakers to match. I bought for the entire team. I have been supporting football, not waiting for any position. No.
Then why do you want to
only that, now? Not only that. When Yoko invaded the GFA, I took them in 2009. To court. I took them to court. I said no. They had no right to do that.
You see, this is getting a very interesting conversation. But then why now do you want to become GFA president?
Because I want to right the wrongs. I want to change the...
Why do you want to be GFA president?
Well, I have been involved with football for close to 2 decades or 2 decades.
So your credentials are unquestionable.
And,
but I just want to understand why.
And not only that,
yes.
Somebody needs to get the job done. Somebody must do it.
So if any other person wins without George, you're fine?
And why not? But the point is that I am an investor in the game. Don't forget, I sit here as someone who owns a club. Don't forget, I'm one of the few Ghanaians who is involved with 2 top clubs. I've paid my dues. I know how it can be done.
On that note of knowing how it can be done, we need to go for a break and we come back. We'll continue the conversation. We'll ask him questions about his club, how, and still the restoration of Ghana football, because that's the biggest question we are asking for today. How is he going to restore Ghana Premier League? Because there's no low patronage for that competition. The Division 1 League, the Women's League, Juvenile League, an area he once served on as the boss. We'll be back in the GFA to do more here on GFA Decides with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
Not to know who constitutes Congress or who constitutes Congress, and not to know the problems facing our industry, for which reason I think that I'm best placed to solve the problems the industry faces.
We need somebody with integrity to help restore the integrity of the game.
This is not time for Matramakwe. This is a time for somebody who is tried and tested.
GFA Decides.
Welcome back from the break. This is GFA Decides. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi, and I'm speaking to GFA presidential aspirant, Mr. George Afriyie. He's answering questions on how we can restore Ghana football. But just before we went for a break, he was talking about how he's an investor in the industry called football. And we know he's a bankroller for Chiman Planners. He's Director of Football for Liberty Professional. You served on as CEO before, if I'm not mistaken, Chief Executive Officer of Liberty. So he's done it all. Vice President of the Ghana Football Association. I remember when he organized our fundraising event, he described the position of Vice President as a position money cannot buy. It was actually something very interesting. But Mr. George, someone would like to understand with what you've done with your club, Chiman Planners or Liberty Professionals, and what you can do with the Ghana Football Association if you match the two.
You see, I find it difficult for anybody trying to compare running a football club and that of a football association.
Because the thing that an association is very big, once a football club is a member of the association.
Let me tell you, Muftau, let me ask you a simple question. The man who identifies your qualities to put you in a position and you performing, who has done so well?
No, this is a rhetorical question. So
I'm only asking a simple question.
So we can continue, yes.
So you see, when I see people touting themselves as having done this, I laugh. It has to take certain George Afriyie to plug you and say, go here. You can perform so well.
What are you
see, when you are a manager, you are to delegate powers and supervise. So when your subordinate goes and performs so well, he's taking the credit. Yes, he has every right to take the credit. The bigger credit comes to you.
What are you insinuating?
Well, what I'm just trying to say is that, apart from Mr. Fred Papo, some of my colleagues in this contestants, some of us identified them and saw the qualities in them and felt that they must be recommended to be served at these positions. Some of us.
Who did you recommend to serve in a certain position?
In leadership, it has to take someone who understands the system to be able to identify individuals at which positions they can fit in. So you see, it's not about your club.
Yeah.
And in any case, Muftau, is there any single club in Ghana here that has produced good players in good leagues than Liberty Professionals? Let the person come up.
No.
I throw a challenge.
No.
No.
Because the numbers are Samoa, the Kojo Samoa, the Sulebuta, the John
If God helps you and you sell players small, be grateful, be so grateful and gracious to God. And we should stop.
I was asking a question.
The dragon is becoming too much.
I was asking a
because
question.
Some of us, they met us in this industry. People met us in the industry. And we know what a lot of people have done it with their life. We know.
I was asking a question. Whom did you recommend to occupy a certain position?
A lot of people in football. I'm saying, apart from Mr. Fred Papo, listen to me carefully.
So the rest?
I said some of them. So I used the word some of them. And I said, apart from Mr. Fred Papo,
I want a
most of these Muftau.
A specific.
Let me tell you something. In Ghana Football Association, today, among all the contestants, I'm the only person who has served from 2005 to current. None of them. Some 6 years, some 4 years, some 3 years. So all of them came to beat me in the system. And so therefore, for you to even serve on any positions on the Ghana Football Association, remember, when I was being touted as chief of staff, it is because I was tasked to put committees together. Mr. Kwesi Nyantechi at that time will tax me. George put a committee together, bring it to the emergency committee we'll look at it, and then from there we'll take it to executive committee and we'll pass it. That kind of man is a leader.
A proper leader, I understand. But then again, I need a specific on whom
you cannot get a specific. I have not come here to speak of specific individuals. I have come here to tell you how I will transform Ghana football. I have come here to tell you what I have been doing over the years. I have come here to tell you how I can put a group of people together to run Ghana football. This is why I'm here.
Okay, so granted. Viewers, Mr. Afriyie says he's not going to give you any specific name. He helped occupy a certain position.
So if there's anybody out there contesting, apart from Mr. Fred Papu, who I served with him, who was my senior man from 2005, all other people who have served went through me. It's as simple as that.
What are the key 3 things Mr. Afriyie will be doing if he's voted president of the Ghana Football Association?
First of all, I have just told you that our image is badly battered and that we need to restore that dented image. It's very important. And how to do that, we need to run a transparent administration. We must be as open as possible. It's very important. We need to depart from our old way of doing things. We need to instill confidence in the sporting public.
So the old administration, you people were not transparent?
I'm saying that there were things that we were not transparent enough. It's a fact. Muftau, you want specifics.
What are the things you were not transparent on? It will be appreciated by the viewer.
For example, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Up to today, people still cry over Puma contract. People continue to say they don't know what it entails. Up to today, people still say, wait. Of course I know. Of course I know. People talked about start times. They don't even know. People say that start times, we agreed to sign 5 years before we realized it was 10 years. People say all sort of things.
I remember
so
the course I got for saying that.
I'm saying that it is important that we need to depart from some of the old ways of doing things. So you look at how FIFA reformed. Now, even to get money from FIFA is very difficult. You need to go through a lot of compliances. You need to do a lot of compliances in order to get money.
How transparent is George?
Oh, come on. Me, I'm so transparent as the way you see me. You know, I'm the type that I say it as it is. I hardly have secrets. I don't know how to. And it's also my weakness. It's the reason why.
Then how come you never came out to explain to the people, this is how the Puma deal is, this is how the Star Times deal is, the Xylophone Kai's deal is. The Xylophone Kai's deal that I wouldn't like her to talk about because I know you are not going to comment on this, but I'm going to say it. I know someone called Mr. George Afriyie. If it is a lie, he will say it is a lie. Someone called him and wanted that partnership done. And Mr. Afriyie wanted a certain due diligence done. And the story will be told another day. Is that true?
It's true.
Okay, then let's move on.
Okay, so the point is that if you are in an association or you are in a group, whatever the differences are, how strongly you feel about anything, deal it inside. Immediately you go out of the group. Remember, you swear an oath of secrecy and an oath of allegiance to whatever you are protecting. Immediately, the day you decide to go out of what a group has decided, that day you have to go out of the group.
What is a guarantee that in the administration of Mr. George Afriyie, should you sign a deal, you wouldn't also go creating certain percentages that are non-existent for your own beneficiaries?
No way. Not me. No, not me. No. You see, even in the past, what the old administration said was that it was becoming very difficult getting sponsorship. So we said that you can still be an executive committee member, But if you are able to attract any sponsorship or you are able to bring any sponsorship to the association, you also enter. And I don't see, honestly, up to now, I don't see anything wrong. Muftau, you may be working for Viasat. Yeah. If there's a policy that says... Sorry. Kwesa. So if there's a policy that says that any amount that you bring in for the company, you have a certain amount of percentage, what's wrong with that? It helps people to work.
Isn't that conflict of interest? No, you're already supposed to serve the interest of the association.
No, you are serving.
Yes.
Okay. Say for instance.
Yes.
On your normal duty, you are not a marketer.
Yes.
On your normal duty, you are not a marketer. But if there's a situation that exists that says that the host can work and bring in a sponsorship, and when he brings that sponsorship, he's entitled to a certain portion or certain amount, I don't see anything more. Trust me. He helps people to work to bring in more money. It's practiced in Japan. Why don't you want to enjoy? Look, if your salary is 2,000, and by virtue of you know him, George Afriyie, and George Afriyie's company can sponsor your program and brings you more money and you can get 1,000 in addition, you don't like it?
you see, at this point, Mr. Afriyie, I want you to understand something. I am supposed to serve the interests of the association.
That is already a guarantee. It's different.
I don't need to be told that I should bring money to the association, should I?
Come on. The Football Association needs money to run its program.
So, as a member of the association, the onus is just not only on the marketing or sales department to bring money.
Everybody. But we are saying that, you see, what do we call it? We call it... a
commission?
No, commission. There's a special word for it, where it encourages people to work and bring in money. I think in the banking sector, they have something like that.
Yeah, the word just came. An incentive.
Is that an incentive to attract you to work? But I don't see any, personally, I don't see anything wrong. You see, the most important...
So will you maintain it?
You see, the most important thing is disclosure. Disclose it. It should not be shrouded in secrecy. That's what I see. But if there's a total disclosure, I don't see anything wrong with it. Personally, I don't see
What can we do to improve... the Ghana Premier. Oh, I asked for 3 things, but you talked only 2. You didn't add the third one.
So add the second one.
You talked about being transparent. That was a key thing.
Yeah.
Number two was supposed to be what?
We talked about...
The key 3 things you are supposed to be doing in your first year of your administration.
And we need to go back to the basics. In this case, when I say we need to go back to the basics, now, if you look at where our football is, I'm saying that our football is at crossroads now. We need to begin to develop the talent right from the juvenile level or the coast level. Yeah. As soon as possible, we must come up with policies and directions that will help us to unearth, develop, enhance young talent for the future. Without that, we don't have any football association. Trust me. Right now, what I'm witnessing and what is happening now, if we don't take care, within the next 6-10 years, it will be difficult to get some great players coming from our ranks. So if we don't put the right structures in place, especially immediately having a full functional technical directorate where all the work, so that referee will be covered, sports medicine will be covered, coaching will be covered, all women football will be covered, goalkeeping department will be covered. We need as soon as possible to put in place a functional technical directory to take care of all these activities.
Number 3.
I've said that's the number.
Okay, now you have come up with something very interesting. Is it 1 player to 1 ball?
One Premier Coast player, 1 football. So someone will ask, when we say Premier Coast player, in Greater Accra we have 24 clubs that are Premier Coast Club. Yeah. Remember, I was the chairman of the NGC, so I instituted that. Ashanti region have 24. Buran have 24. The rest have 12 each. So we are saying that those Premier clubs, Premier Coast clubs, when we say Premier Coast Club is a coast club that meets certain requirements. You see, you walk to some coast clubs, difficult to even get 3 sets of jerseys, difficult to even have balls, difficult to even have a playing field that they can call their own. Not that they own the pitch, but that they've been given access to use the pitch. It's very important.
Like something like this?
But but unfortunately, this is what we have.
Yeah.
You see, so those Premier Coast Clubs must be supported. And then it becomes an envious to others. Others will also want to improve too in order to achieve the status of a Premier Coast Club. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that those Premier Coast Clubs, each player, 1 football.
How much is 1 football?
Well, if you are looking at this, at different age levels, we have the size 4 and size 5. See, what we practice here in this country, that is why I've been telling you that we've been doing the wrong things all this while. Certain ages, you're not supposed to be playing the case 5. You are supposed to play the size 4 football. Okay. So it ranges between 70 Ghana cedis, 50 to 100 Ghana cedis.
So which one will you buy?
Well, that when the time comes, you know.
So
maybe I may not even be buying it because, George has the contact to get these footballs for free.
Okay, that exclusive thing you'll be giving it to us because I'm aware of that deal you are doing. but I would like to understand.
Why do you try to know things about me and why do you do that?
Well, it is part of the business actually.
Yeah, but you see, sometimes I feel very uncomfortable. I always want to run away from you.
Why?
You know why? Because you come up with some informations and I don't know how you get them.
Okay, I understand. But now let me get one thing clear. How many coast clubs do we have across the country?
Over 2,000.
Premier coast clubs, per your understanding.
Premier is 24, 24, 20. Okay, 24 Greater Accra, 24 Ashanti, 24 Brunei. That comes to 72.
Yeah.
Okay, then you have 12 each of the rest of the 7 regions.
And you say one football per each player?
And
how is that feasible?
It's feasible. Muftau, relax. I have done the maths. You see, each coast club, say a minimum of 15 players.
Yes.
From the categories, because we have the under 12 or 13, under 15 and under 17. Yeah. So 15 comes to, so each of those coast clubs is 45. Okay. 45 players. You put them at 45 players. Yes. So you need to multiply 45 by 24. You get a number. Put all together. It's not even up to 30,000 balls, and I can get that easy.
So okay, I understand. You can get that easily.
My only worry will be how to convince government to get tax holiday or just tax.
Exactly the question I was coming to. How are you?
You see, in the coming days,
yes.
In the coming days, if God willing, I'm elected as the president of Ghana Football Association, I need to put a data together to government why they must fund football in this country. They are already funding football, but mainly on the national team and infrastructure. Yeah. Because remember, currently the government is building a lot of pitches across the country and it's going to help in the development of football in this country. Not only football, I think there are other sporting disciplines attached to it. Now, we need to put a data together to present this data to government for government to understand that a certain ages in our society is being taken care of by a certain group of people called the Ghana Football Association. Muftau, take Division 2s. Greater Accra, the last time I checked today, I think they are 100 and something. Yeah. If each of those teams have 25 or 30 in their roster, multiply that by 100, add a technical staff of, let's say, 5, because Division 2, and add a management of 2, that's 7. Now, put all the math together, Greater Accra, go to Ashanti region, go to Brunei, go to Central, go to Eastern, put all the figures there. Now, come down to Division 1, 48 Division 1 clubs. Each registering 30 players, plus 7 technical team, plus add that one. Come to Premier, put all the figures together. Now, those people who are enjoying football by virtue of the industry, I'm talking of the ice water sellers, the ice cream sellers. Ask those. So the government at the end of the day will see that. I would not even want to add those people into it. The main actors, which is the Football Association, a chunk of people in their youthful years are being taken care of by a certain group called the Ghana Football Association. Do you know what it means? But for the Ghana Football Association, if we don't exist to provide this training and hope for these boys at these ages are dangerous to society. If you don't take care.
This is an interesting point you just made. If you people don't exist,
it's a timing bomb.
Yeah, it's
ready to explode.
But people say you've personalized football. You've made football like an individual entity where you stand to benefit.
But the government knows that's not the case. You see, when a match is being played, okay, for example,
if you sell a player, the money comes to
Let me tell you. No, you see, if you think it's too simple like that, if you simplify it like that, it becomes very difficult.
And that's why the ordinary Ghanaian like myself thinks.
No, it's a big mistake. Let me tell you.
Now educate us.
You watch Kumasi Asante Kotoko playing, what's the name? The Tunisian club.
Etoile du Sahel.
Etoile du Sahel. Over 35,000 Ghanaians in that stadium.
Yeah.
Immediately it becomes a national security threat.
Yes.
Anything happen on that on that field that day,
Yeah.
it's a disaster for the government of Ghana. It is the reason why at your technical meeting, you have the national security, you have the police, you have the fire service. A lot of people, industry players are enjoying from that. You know how much VAT they will pay on the day?
Let's not go into that area. But now let's talk into specifics. What would George be doing for the Premier League?
First of all,
Because
we
you
need
say
the media. We need them.
lack of interest in it.
No, I don't totally agree to that. You see,
Really?
yeah, Mufta.
I see you at Liberty all the time.
No.
Except that when we come, I can stand and count everyone. Apart from House of Liberty,
It's good to use the word
coming.
sometimes. There were times when you came with House of Folk, people were begging me to even, and they can't get a place to sit. Go to the Buna House.
That I know.
Years ago. So you see, the point is that it can be done. I need you to help market the product. It is the reason why I describe the media as partners. Because trust me, we have to aggressively and vigorously pursue an improvement of whatever we've had in the past. An improvement in the spectatoring, an improvement in marketing, and an improvement in making sure that the game itself become incident-free. So that women and children can just, on their free times, will walk into a Liberty
I'll
Dance
hold my
Woman
boy
Park. And you know, it's my
So
boy too. You know, I like.
He will wear the Kotoko jersey.
I'm going to buy the white one also.
So, if you do this, what is a guarantee that people will come into the stadium? And I remember
Because
vividly-
we've done it and they came. Trust me, let me tell you. You know, the Kumasi fans boycotted the Black Stars.
Yeah, I know.
So as the chairman of the Black Stars, when we brought Kwesi Appiah back, and we're going back to Kumasi for the first time.
To play Ethiopia.
You know the strategy I adopted? I picked some players who are loved and adored by the Kumasi fan. Sylvain Appiah, Olele Kingston, Tanko Ibrahim, the assistant coach then, and we went into various radio stations and we promoted the game. We had a full house.
How was that?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, what will we be doing for Division 1?
You know, Division 1, I've
48 clubs.
I've served. You know, Division 1, we had a structure which we need to find a way to make sure that we implement that structure. Because we had planned that we will ultimately have a National Division 1 league. So we had to find a way to be reducing it gradually till we achieve that target, because the numbers are too huge. So we'll work on that.
You work on that? How are you going to
I'm
work
saying
on
that because we have the structure plan.
Tell us how you're going to
No. It's the structure. Now you have 48. Maybe in the next 2 seasons, we will say that we want to have a 24, and then maybe later 20 or 18. It can be done.
One question skipped my mind before I went to the Division 1. Let's come back to the Premier League. You promised to give that each player should be paid $1,000. How feasible is that?
Did you read the test properly?
Per my understanding of what you want to do is you want it to be a policy for the clubs where there will be a standard salary.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. What did you
I'm
say?
saying that in order to curb, in order to stop, in order to put an end to the exodus, and I'm referring to the exodus, the players living every day to foreign leagues. I don't have a problem. But the players living to Tanzania, Sudan, Iraq, Azerbaijan, Lebanon, Bahrain, those are the ones I'm talking about. They go for $1,000, some $800, some $700. And I'm saying that there are clubs that are already paying $1,000 in this league. In fact, Liberty, we've paid before. We paid to 2 foreign players that we had in the past. And I understand that even as we speak, Sonny Yakuba takes maybe more than $1,000. Adebayo of Interlice takes more than $1,000.
I know.
So, and then players are signed to a huge signing on fees of 80,000 Ghana cedis, 60,000 Ghana cedis and all that. So, spread that money and add it to your 2,000 or the 1,500 that you're already paying. You are paying the $1,000. Because elsewhere in Europe now, there's nothing like signing on fee.
We need to go for a second break and come back. And when we come back, we'll be speaking to George Afriyie more on what he'll be doing for women's football as well. Basically, just 5-10 minutes that we'll be using to do that. We'll be back in a jiffy.
this industry long enough. I think that I have gone through the woods of Ghana to every club, to every region, not to know who constitutes Congress or who constitutes Congress, and not to know the problems facing our industry, for which reason I think that I'm best placed to solve the problems the industry faces.
We need somebody with integrity to help restore the integrity of the game.
This is not time for Matramakwe. This is the time for somebody who is tried and tested.
GFA decides.
A pleasure you are still here with us on GFA Decides with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. And tonight we are speaking to the former Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, Mr. George Afriyie. He's been speaking to us about his vision for Ghana football, how he intends to restore Ghana football, about being transparent, about going back to the juvenile level, because he says that if we don't go back to the basics, it will get to a point we cannot even have stars filling in the national teams. That's a great vision many people want to have, because people say Cole's football in those days used to be the key things that was driving Ghana football. But these days, our under-17s were doing well, our under-20s were doing well. Now even our Black Stars is even struggling to do well. He said, just say the graph went downwards. Thank you. Now he's been talking about how he's going to raise that graph, and I'd like to find out from you. There's this community of people who feel that women's football is one thing we don't follow.
Yeah, and Muftau, the point is very simple. Sports is interest. Sports. All over the world, every single individual who loves sports depends on the kind of interest he has on a particular sport. Yeah. There's those who like motorsports, there are those who like baseball, basketball, ice hockey, and all that. Now, in women's football, unfortunately for us in this country, it is still the men who run women's football. That's the unfortunate part.
Why is it unfortunate?
It is because the sport is women's football. It's women's football. So you expect more women.
Also love men's football.
Yeah, but I'm saying that it is. I'm not saying they don't love. I'm saying that it is the men that are running the women's football. I expect more women into women's football.
How do you bring more women into women's football?
Because they need to develop interest. It is about time we find a way to bring more prominent people in society who are women into women's football. It is very important.
So how are you going to do that?
You see, it's a sport. You want to grow the sports. Yes. So you need to whip up the enthusiasm. You need to try and drive the passion to the women. For example, if there's a Black Queen game, you lose nothing by sending a ticket to the office of the First Lady. You go there will be women serving under the First Lady, and tell the First Lady, we need your presence. The Black Queens are playing, the princesses are playing. Even if you can't come, can the Second Lady come? Can the people working in the... Bring them there. Bring the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Ask Madam, your presence alone, the eyeball, the direction that the eyeball will catch, people will begin to talk about it. You can bring the Chief Justice. Yeah. I mean, even in her office, there are people who work there. Probably, if she doesn't have time to even go, she'll send people. Let's try to get more musicians, top actresses, people who matter, people who have a bit of influence. It's important that you draw this thing, to draw all of them little by little. Once the interest begin to grow, there will be more women showing interest to be part of the management of women football.
You've spoken so brilliantly about how you're going to get people so much interested. But if
but I'm a people's man, you know me. I attract people everywhere I go.
Is that why when we came for the
So how I filed my nomination, Hollywood style, huh?
That Hollywood style. What brought about that? What influenced that?
You know, I used to have an office opposite the Newtown Shell filling station. The Newtown Shell filling station. Yeah. And I had the house down, the Newtown Shell down there. So I've lived in that part of Accra before. So I have a lot of boys from that area. So when they just heard that George is going to contest, some of them went on Facebook and tried to download my pictures and printed t-shirts and all that. So it was not organized by me, but it was people who loved me. Who now go to Nima. People have put up big banners and all that.
But people say, okay, I will ask you about the importance of picking number 2 for these elections. But there are people who accuse you of bringing what do you call
Langas.
it? Langas.
But Muftar, you see, I find it difficult when my friend wrote that article because the point is that when that young man, Kato, used to lead the Black Stars, he was fine. When he led George Afriyie, he became a Langard. But in any case, is it not so nice that Langards are disturbing you on your lands and I can bring them to the stadium so that they can stop disturbing you on your lands? Is it not good?
Okay, that is good. You picked number 2 for the elections. Your name will be number 2 for the GFA elections, October 25. How important is number 2?
When you see your son, who is my friend, ask him what is the victory sign. 2. Enyo. Amave.
How many languages have you spoken already? You spoke about 3 different languages. Now, let's get one thing clear. You've spoken to the delegates. Per what you've heard, what is the guarantee that George Afriyie will lead the Ghana Football Association?
Inshallah. Let me borrow the words of Alhaji Bruza. Yeah. Inshallah. Come 25th, or come whichever day the elections will be held. I have confidence. I don't fear delegates. I believe in delegates. I don't want to go Sir John way. Yeah. I believe in delegates. And that when the time comes, the people of Ghana football, the investors of Ghana football, the administrators of Ghana football will give me the chance to lead them to the promised land.
Do you have any idea how many clubs will vote for you? Because we are building
well, it's difficult to predict, but I'm looking at 80.
80?
Yeah.
Out of 120, not if you say 120, 116, because
80.
The others are yet to accept
80. I have every confidence. I'm going to get 80.
What is this guarantee? Which class promise?
Well, I showed it by the endorsement. They said endorsement that will not translate into vote. So I was
actually one key person who came up with that argument. Endorsement is not a vote.
Well, it's not a vote, but in the coming days, the people who are coming out. Now, you've seen the delegate list.
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay, so let's just wait for the RFA elections. Come on the 18th. Now people will begin to see their smoothness level.
So your reliance of winning this election will be dependent on the RFAs?
No, I'm saying that because they're also part of the election.
Yeah,
right?
they're part of the election.
But I'm saying that I'm putting a total number of 80. The target is 80.
It's a target, but it's
a realistic target.
Because you've been told that...
Well, because I have been...
80 people have told you.
You see, Muftar, I'm the only person in this election who has gone through all 3 elections. And I've come up top.
We just need to wrap up. But let's talk about your relationship with Gianni Infantino.
Gianni?
Yes.
He's a very wonderful man.
Have you spoken to him?
The last time was when we were in CAF, during the AFCON. Right. Since then, I've not spoken to you.
Why? Why have you spoken to him?
No.
Because we keep hearing people endorsing you left, right, and center.
No. But I mean, he's the head of FIFA. I'm sure definitely you don't expect him to do that, right?
You have a relationship with Ahmad too?
Yes.
How did you build all these connections?
Well, let me say clearly that one, you cannot take it away from Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi. It is because I followed Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi to almost all... You know, I started going to CAF and FIFA Congress 2011. Yeah. 8 years now. So that's helped me. So that one, there's nothing you can do about it.
So
it's a football family. Yes, it's a football family.
And have you spoken to Kwesi himself?
No, I have not spoken to him.
I hear people are courting for his support. You didn't court for his support. Why?
I think that they should leave the man to rest in his home, and they should not bring him into our politics now. It's not good.
But do you feel he can still make an impact or have an impact in this election?
No comment.
Why?
No comment.
You work with him. I'm just asking.
I said no comment.
No comment means
it's an answer.
Okay, no comment, and I'm going to try to interpret that no comment. It means that either Kwesi Nyantakyi can have an impact in this election, or otherwise he might not have an impact in it.
Okay.
That probably means when you are writing the story, and put my own in brackets, he said no comment, but Muftar interpreted it this way. It's been a pleasure speaking to Mr. George Afriyie. Thank you very much for passing through. We've worked so hard to get this interview, and we appreciate that you passed through here. This has been GFA Decides with me, Muftar Abdullahi. And our guest tonight was Mr. George Afriyie. Hopefully, the promises he's made on this platform, should he win to become the next president of the Ghana Football Association? One key question I didn't ask him was the timelines he thinks he can achieve them. But can you give me that?
I'll build first 2 pitches within the first year. With
whose money?
Wait and see. How do we get money to construct roads? Do you know?
I'm going to take. Does the FA have that kind of money?
No, you can get grants. The government of Ghana get grants every day, right?
So what is the guarantee that the government of Ghana will do that?
I'll speak to the Japan Football Association and says that my youth football needs
What is the guarantee that the Japan Government of Football Association will do that for you?
Because they trust George.
This is just a political comment you've made.
It's not. You want me to show you videos of how many people have promised to support George?
I saw some.
Okay, then.
Thank you very much. Mr. George Afriyie is promising to build 2 pitches. We will hold him accountable for this when next we have him on this platform. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
This has been GFA Decides with me, Mufano.
I've served this industry long enough. I think that I have gone through the woods of Ghana to every club, to every region, not to know who constitutes Congress or who constitutes Congress, and not to know the problems facing our industry, for which reason I think that I'm best placed to solve the problems the industry faces.
We need somebody with integrity to help restore the integrity of the game.
This is not time for Matra Makwe. This is the time for somebody who is tried and tested.